Star Trek subtly confirms the mirror universe's big villains could easily defeat Starfleet. For decades, Star Trek fans have debated the true power and threat of the mirror universe, the dark reflection of the Federation we know and love. Introduced in the original series classic Mirror, this parallel reality gave audiences a glimpse of a universe where Federation ideals were inverted into ruthlessness, ambition, and unrestrained cruelty. While these episodes were thrilling and often humorous, recent storytelling across Star Trek has dropped subtle hints suggesting that the villains of the mirror universe aren't just morally dark. They might actually be militarily and strategically superior to Starfleet itself. At first glance, it's easy to dismiss the mirror universe as a playful narrative detour. The Terran Empire, after all, is depicted with exaggerations. Uniforms are flashy, leaders are tyrannical, and discipline is brutal. But when you start analyzing the hints scattered across series like Deep Space Nine, Discovery, and even the reboots in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, a chilling picture emerges. These aren't merely villains for storytelling convenience. They're efficient, adaptable, and terrifyingly competent. Take Captain Gabriel Lorca in Star Trek Discovery as a starting point. While not explicitly labeled a mirror universe antagonist initially, the show reveals that his version of the universe, and by extension, his ruthless tactics, comes from a realm where efficiency trumps morality. Lorca's strategies against the Klingons, combined with his willingness to manipulate and deceive at every turn, exemplify the kind of leadership that mirrors the Terran Empire's approach. Unlike Starfleet captains who are bound by regulations and ethics, Lorca shows what a captain unconstrained by morality can accomplish. In a direct conflict with Starfleet, leaders like Lorca, or his mirror universe counterparts, would likely have a decisive advantage in both speed and adaptability. The subtle power of the mirror universe villains also lies in their psychology. While Starfleet values diplomacy, collaboration, and transparency, the mirror universe cultivates fear, cunning, and opportunism. Every officer, from the captain to the lowest-ranking crew member, is trained to exploit weakness ruthlessly. That kind of systemic opportunism isn't something the Federation is prepared to handle. Starfleet's strict adherence to codes of conduct and principles of engagement, admirable though they are, could be exploited in ways that would quickly turn a tactical engagement into a disaster. Deep Space Nine's mirror episodes go this point further. In Crossover and its sequels, we see mirror universe characters not only surviving but thriving through sheer cunning. The Terran Empire's officers display a blend of deception, quick thinking, and battlefield improvisation that consistently outmatches the relatively rigid Starfleet protocols. When you analyze the interactions, the mirror universe crew isn't just meaner, they are systematically more dangerous because they are allowed to be. Starfleet's strength, cooperation, ethics, restraint is ironically its weakness against an opponent who thrives on exploiting every loophole. Technology is another subtle area where the mirror universe might have the edge. Starfleet is technologically advanced, yes, but often constrained by bureaucracy, ethics, and shared oversight. Mirror universe officers, by contrast, employ whatever means necessary to achieve objectives, including weapon systems, tactical maneuvers, and experimental tech that Starfleet might deem too risky. Episodes of Discovery show that a few decisive technological advantages, like stealth or aggressive weaponry, can turn a conflict quickly, especially if the opponent is unwilling to take the kinds of risks that the mirror universe would exploit without hesitation. What makes this revelation even more compelling is that Star Trek rarely spells it out explicitly. The narrative treats the mirror universe largely as a playground for moral contrast and dramatic tension. Yet, the underlying details, the ruthlessness, the strategic cunning, the willingness to leverage technology without restraint, are consistently aligned with traits that would allow them to dominate a conventional Starfleet fleet. In other words, the series trusts its audience to connect the dots. These villains aren't just scary in personality, they're frighteningly competent. Finally, consider the political structure. Starfleet, in theory, is a cooperative federation bound by diplomacy and international law. Mirror universe regimes operate under authoritarian structures where hierarchy is enforced violently and loyalty is conditional. Such a system may be morally reprehensible, but it produces singularly focused military units. And, if you want, I can also create a version with specific Star Trek battles analyzed, showing exactly how mirror universe tactics could overwhelm Starfleet ships. That would make the argument even more concrete. Do you want me to do that next?